Hello friends, government has no business to be in business. That's what Prime Minister Modi says. The government's duty is to focus on development projects. When government engages in business, it leads to losses. The government is committed to supporting the country's enterprise and business, but the government itself running the enterprise or continuing as its owner is something that is not needed in this age, and it is not possible also. He was addressing a webinar on the effective implementation of budget provisions in disinvestment on 24th February. In the meeting, he made no bones about his support for private sector, and his speech was entirely devoted for justifying his government's decision to speed up privatization. Monetize and modernize is the new mantra for his government, and the government is planning to monetize 100 government-owned assets, which will open up investment opportunities to the tune of rupees 2.5 trillion for the private sector. Private sector participation is a big focus area of this year's budget also. The LIC IPO is slated for this year. One general insurance company and two public sector banks are going for sale this year. The disinvestment of Air India, PPCL, Concor, Shipping Corporation of India, etc. are also going to happen shortly. Public sector companies will remain only in key strategic sectors, and that too only minimum companies. The budget also proposed the monetization of land and non-core assets of various departments and ministries too. The divestment target for the upcoming financial year is set at rupees 1.75 lakh crore. And what is his justification for privatization? Many of the PSUs are loss-making. They are causing burden to the economy. According to the PM, when PSUs were started, the country had different needs and aspirations. PSUs can't keep operating today just because they have been there since so many years. There was probably a rationale for setting up PSUs when they were originally established, but this was no longer the case in many areas. For instance, though telecommunication remains a strategic sector even in the new definition, setting up an MTNL probably made sense when there were no private firms supplying telecom services. But as the number of private sector telecom providers rose, the need for an MTNL came down. Now, it is not as relevant as it was a couple of decades back. India started its disinvestment process way back in 91-92. Every year since 1991, the centre had set targets for receipts through disinvestment, except during the 5-year under UPA 1, when the left parties were also part of the government. The centre has been able to meet its target only 4 times in the last 18 years. The NDA government under Vajpayee was the most successful regime in this respect, and they had even a dedicated ministry for disinvestment. So, the Modi government's repeated emphasis on privatization and monetization of the assets of public sector companies is clear indication of their commitment to speeding up of privatization, which will be witnessed in the country in the coming days. Thank you.